Hey guys, so I just replaced the power steering pump in the car, and this is the old pump, as you may see. Now, I looked through forums, I looked through all kinds of places to see what and how to do it, because I have a specific problem because I have the supercharger kit from VF on my car. Now, I went ahead and looked at all the forums online, and I could only see there was one guy with the, I believe it's the G-Power kit, where the intakes come out from here, the intercooler. So I had to kind of find a way in order to get it, because there's so tight clearances here, and the fan has to come off in order to get to the power steering pump, which is, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's actually let's see if I can find it here. I mean, it's the pulley right next to that one on the left. So as far as it goes, first step is, of course, you got to jack up your car. Now, you go underneath, you're going to take out the actual plate. I have the Turner Motorsports oil cooler guard on here in the bottom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to unclip these hoses right here. You're going to unclip all these off of the radiator. And what I would recommend you to do, so you don't damage your radiator, I have a Mishimoto radiator, so it's a little bit bigger than factory, but you're going to take these off and twist them to the side so they don't damage your radiator in here. Okay. Now you're just going to do that for all these pipes. And I don't know if I can actually show you the water pump. I mean, not the water pump, the power steering pump. It's probably going to be somewhere in there. Let me see if I can get the flashlight. Let's see if I can see it. I looked like day and night for all these forums, and none of the forums worked for me because I have the VF supercharger kit, and it wasn't really helping me in regards to taking it off, because I had to take extra stuff off. Okay. If you can see, I don't know if the camera can focus or not, but that pulley right there, that pulley, that's the power steering. Now, there's specific bolts that you need to take off in order to get to it, and I would highly recommend first we start from the top. But this is just to get the radiator out of the way, and that should give you clearance to work from the top. Now, you're gonna pretty much unclip all these bolts, or lines, sorry. This line, you're gonna unclip. There's a line in here, this line, and this line. And also I would recommend just taking this off, to be honest, because it gets in the way. I have this here, so I had to take this off. There are 3 bolts, 2 on top, 1 on the bottom, and I just kind of pushed it to the side. You're gonna take this radiator fan connection, you're gonna unplug it, push it in, and unplugs, and just put it to the side. Now, I will say this was probably the hardest part of the whole job, because I could not get the fan out without, you see the bolts, you see this bolt, how it's kind of touching the fan, and then there's 2 additional bolts on this side that kept touching when I tried pulling out from that end. Now, this fan, I know a lot of people would be worried if they bend it, if they crack it, because, you know, BMW parts usually crack. I actually got it out by just putting a bar between here and this supercharger bracket, and I pushed it in, and it actually made enough clearance just to clear that bolt. And now another issue I had was trying to take it off here from that clip that clips onto the radiator onto the actual clamp for the radiator inlet for the upper hose. I would remove this because you're gonna have to drain your coolant, and just push this to the side along with the line that you unclipped. I would also unclip this one here too, because it gives you better clearance to move the fan out of the way. These lines, when I took this off, was out of the way, so I had pretty much all the clearance I needed to pull the fan off. And like I said, just keep prying it up here to move it past this bolt, Once you get it past that first bar down in here, I'll show you. See that bar right there? The part of the radiator, this part right here on the underside, you're gonna pull that out. And once you get it over, then you'll have to get over these guys. And once you do that, the fan should just come out. And that's about it. Now, I wanna let you know that you do not have to take the belt off for this belt to come off. You do not have to take the belt off. I mean, because there's a clearance bolt, the banjo bolt right there for the power steering. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's right in between there. That banjo bolt right in there, right there. They say on the forums you need to take this water pump pulley out in order to get to it. All right, we're back. So like I said, I mean, I was going ahead and taking this guy off and pushing it to the side over here. Now they say on the forums to take off the power steering reservoir. You do not need to do that because the line goes to the bottom, and once you have the radiator out, you'll see the power steering line that goes towards the bottom. Let me see if I can go underneath and show you. You'll see what I'm talking about. This line right here. This is the power steering line. You can see it here. And then the power steering pump goes all the way to the top. In there, that's the power steering pump in there. So pretty much you'll have to unclamp the line that goes from here. There's like an extension. Let me see if I can get the camera up there. Maybe you guys can see it. Let's see. You see the line? All right. So, I mean, I apologize, guys, because I did the job and it just took me forever, and because I had a different situation. I should have videotaped while I was actually doing the job, but I didn't want to get anything wrong. So I'm kind of showing you guys afterwards. So none of these lines need to come off. This is the power steering pressure lines. You do not need to take those off. So I mean, don't feel like that's something that needs to be done. It's just extra work for no reason. Now, I know people get confused with this bolt and this bolt. There's a bolt that's holding that bracket in, and you'll need to take it off, but don't get confused with this one. It's this bolt right here on this side. So another thing is that you'll have to take off the belt tensioner right here, this piece, along with the piece that's guarding the whole assembly. So that's pretty much from down here, looking at how to take it off, because you'll actually take it off from the top, not down here, but this is just so I can kind of reference how it's, you know, how you guys may be able to do it. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but pretty much that's how it is. So you'll have to do that, and once I can go back up. Now from up here, you will take the belt off and the belt idler pulley, which is that pulley right there. You'll have to take that pulley off in order to gain access to the banjo bolt that's in there. I don't know if you guys can see. That banjo bolt is like, it was like complicated, but there's a special way to take it out without taking off the actual water pump pulley. And that is a handmade tool that I made. So I got this guy. You know, I kind of put it all the way to the end. I was able to grab onto the banjo bolt, unloosen it, and with this guy, because you don't have much clearance between the radiator and the actual, you know, banjo bolt, you'll have to actually use something like this to take it off without taking off the big pulley. I happen to have this on hand from another job, so this worked out for me. It's a 5/16, and that'll pretty much kind of cover on how to take off that banjo bolt, because a lot of people say that when they try taking off that banjo bolt, I mean, when they take off the water pump, I mean the power steering pulley, and you know, this is pretty much this bolt, and this bolt takes it out of the housing. And you can see on the bottom there's this here, This is the bolt you have to take off that's connected to the bottom where I was showing you guys earlier. This is just the back piece. And then the actual pulley's made of plastic, so just be aware so you guys don't chip it like I did when taking it off. And then pretty much these 3 bolts here, you know, are what's holding it in place. And that's pretty much it for this guy. But so this is where the idler pull, not idler pulley, but the actual belt tensioner for the AC, power steering, and I believe, yeah, that's about it on this side, because there's 2 belts to the car, is where you'll take it off. And there's another piece that hangs on this side. Now, that's pretty much the job. But just, you know, just be aware that it does take a lot of time. And this saves you in taking off the power steering reservoir, an extra belt along with the water pump pulley. And doesn't pretty much just doesn't make you touch anything on this side. So that's the gist of it. And once you're done, I would say do not start the car. You will open this guy up. You will fill it up until it goes all the way to the top. You will get in the car before you do it. If the car's up in the air, just put it on ignition, turn the steering wheel to see if it takes any fluid. And once that's done, because you would have also drained your radiator because you took off these hoses, I will fill this up with brand new fluid. Make sure it's BMW fluid, along with you know, the concentrated water meant for it to make it diluted. You'll put this in, you'll fill it up to the top, you will unbleed, you'll take off this bleeding screw. You will go in your car, turn it on, and put the heater on high, run it on the fan, turn on the car, let it run. And this system will bleed itself out if you keep turning it 5-6 times while inside. Once you're done, top it off, make sure it's topped with fluid, and over time this will bleed itself. This guy here, you will just close the cap back, you will fill it up all the way, you'll close the cap, you'll open this valve. Whenever you stop seeing bubbles come out and your heater in the car starts heating up, and you just see it running water, it means that this is already bled, there's no more air in the system, and you can pretty much just drive it as normal and go on your day that way. And then, you know, just putting the stuff back, you know, everyone's different. I have a little bit different setup here, but I just wanted to make a small video with people with the VF kit, because I did not see anything online on how to do the power steering pump on an e9x M3. Thank you guys.